Welcome to American Dreams, Keys to Success, with your host, Alan Olson.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Henry Yin. Henry is a former commissioner with the California Economic Development Department. Henry, welcome to today's show.
Thank you, Alan. Good morning, everyone.
So, Henry, can you give me your background? How did you get to where you are today, and what took you on your journey?
Well, make long story short, I was born in China, raised in Taiwan, and came to stay with a dream of becoming, part of Americans. That was back to 1974. So after I finished my master's degree program with San Jose State, major in industrial engineering, I started working with a few companies in Silicon Valley. Obviously, I was not very satisfied with what I was, between 8x5. So I started having my own business in 1985 with only $50 in my pocket. That was the first company I ever tried to develop my own. But a few years later, that business name by the name of Giant Y Incorporated, specialized in the electronic assembly equipment, became a multi-million-dollar business. And then I realized, United States would be really the land for the dreamer. As long as we work hard, and dream will come true. But about a few years later, I realized, working hard, making money will not be the entire part of the life. And we are part of the community. Therefore, I devote all of my time and the interest and the passion in the community. So in between, I realized not only serving the community where my folks came from, either Taiwan or China, we're supposed to become part of this entire large community. That gave me a chance to meet with Mr. Alan Olson with the Chamber of Commerce, you recall.
Oh, yeah, years ago, that's right.
That was way back to probably in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say at least 20 years ago.
So, Henry, your Giant Y, are you still working in that today?
No, in fact, that business, because of the market switching, it became, the China market becomes self-sufficient. Therefore, they would not need any equipment from the Silicon Valley. So approximately about 10 years ago, I opened the second one called USA-China Link, dedicated to the international trading between Silicon Valley or California and China. That offered me another opportunity to explore the different opportunity. And again, part of American Dream is how we be able to link the resource between where here and versus where I came from originally. So this 10 years helped me bring myself to another dream, another level of ideas. That's what I'm developing now, so-called the first California Green Technology Park in Fremont.
Green technology. Wow, this sounds exciting. Did this culminate out of your role with the California Economic Commission?
Yes. In fact, that was the chance I must appreciate the former governor of California, Mr. Schwarzenegger, who gave me that opportunity. And I realized among four major industries, green technology has always been the number two after agriculture. And obviously, the clean tech, green tech is the direction of the future.
What exactly is green technology?
It can be very broad. Anything you come from biodegradable food serving units, like a paper plates and a recyclable food container, to as huge as nuclear power plant, and so forth. Whatever will be able to preserve the earth energy, and again to make much more efficient during our day-to-day life. So in between the current industry are more focused into such as LED lighting, solar panel power, electrical bicycle, electrical cars, and so forth so on. So that's why in this Green Tech Park, We are hoping to develop Fremont to become the first one of this size, almost 8 square miles in the entire southern part of Fremont. So that eventually we can do that.
I'm visiting here today with Henry Yin. Henry is a former commissioner with the California Economic Development Commission, and he now has a project for Green Tech Park here in Fremont, California. Henry, we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
With current laws, we have left our children an enormous financial burden. Even though they may be too young to understand it. At GrowCo, we care about you and the ones you love, and the quality of your and their lives. Call us today to see how we can help. 877-CPA-2006.
GrowCo, helping you along the way.
Apple pie, baseball, and now here's All-American Alan Olson.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Henry Yin. Henry is an entrepreneur, spent the last 40 years here in Fremont, California, and now has a special project underway called FAST, which is the acronym for the Fremont Economic Green Park coming into play here in this part of the Silicon Valley. Henry, what is the difference between economic development and economic growth?
I think in the general terms, economic growth is almost like the natural process of economic development in certain region or defined areas. But economic development is more into a pre-planned and more experimental process rather than let it go by itself. So for instance, by using this project, we did research and came up with this ideal location for the southern part of Fremont, knowing that Fremont does have the qualification and all the resource contents. Mm-hmm. By putting the efforts from government, from private sector, from domestic and overseas, when we put them together into this kind of a very organized and disciplined manner, this process we call economic development. Then we realize to go through this process, we can expect or anticipate certain results from time to time in a timely manner. Or versus, economic growth, then just like other community, then which is let go by itself in a very natural way, rather than more planned and organized. So I think this is probably the better explanation or differentiation between the two.
So in this new project for the Green Technology Park, mm-hmm. You have the support of the local government agencies, Fremont, City of Fremont's behind this, as well as you have the Fremont Chamber of Commerce. So Henry, what are the pros and cons of allowing the private sector to develop the economy by themselves?
Based on my understanding of Americans, the city government structure is relatively smaller and limited. Let's use Fremont as a good example. Fremont is a really, we call medium-sized city with about 220,000 population. However, the city government has very limited resource for economic development. They only have 4 staffs. But how can we expect those 4 individuals to accomplish such a huge size of project in a matter of just a few years? Mm-hmm. So knowing that those are the limitations, the more effective way, and the city recognize that, is to allow and welcome the private sectors to join this with the resource, either the capital, equipment, system, or others, into this development process.
So, Henry, what type of companies are you looking for to come into the Green Tech Park, and how do you incentivize them to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Alan. That's the challenge part that we need to encounter. Mm-hmm. Unlike other socialism countries, the government can literally do whatever they like to do. But in the U.S. system, it's limited and it's different. Mm-hmm. So while doing that part, that we are trying the what we call the legislature system in the U.S. by going through the state assembly and state senator. They then realized that in order to achieve much greater results in the green tech, which is the future of our community and our society and industry, then the state also need to do something through this process by proposing the new bill or modifying the current bill so that they can allow certain amount of funding from the federal or from the state given to the local community, like this kind of project. So you mentioned about, two major green tech industry right here in our town. One is very successful, Tesla. The other one was not very fortunate. We used to be the Solyndra.
But they're famous.
They're famous. Okay, but either way is experimental.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, we have reason to criticize about how Solyndra has not been able to manage the money. But that kind of experiment to try that clean tech product is definitely a must. Okay.
So Henry, how does a person find more information about this or reach you on the green tech project? Do you have a website, a phone number, or what?
Yes. What I would suggest that we do have a website. In the meantime, that I will encourage anyone to either send email to me, that is HMYIN@Comcast.net. I will be able to assign one of our 30 volunteers to the dedicate different type of products or projects so that he or she will be able to assist. That's how we handle this one for the last 1 year.
I'm visiting here today with Henry Yin. He's a former California Economic Commissioner and is now taking on a project in the Fremont community for a green tech park in southern Fremont. Henry, appreciate you being on today's show.
Thanks, Alan, and thanks, everyone.
We'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to American Dreams with Alan Olson on AM 1220 KDOW.